Hello everyone, Angular 19 is going to be launched soon and Angular 19 is going to have many features. One important feature Angular 19 is going to bring to us is a reactive API called Resource API. The main purpose of Resource API is to fetch data from the API using HTTP protocol. You can use Resource API for other purposes as well, such as update data locally or asynchronously loading your data source, etc. So Resource API is going to change the way you at least perform HTTP GET operation and load data from the API. So in this video, we are going to learn about Resource API. My name is Dhananjay Kumar. So to start working with Resource API, you need to make sure that you are on Angular 19 version. So as you see in my package.json, I am on Angular 19 next version. At the time of creating this video, Angular 19 is not launched. So we are on Angular 19 next. And normal scaffolded application, there is nothing. App component and app component TS is pretty empty. Now to create Resource API, first thing what you need to do is you need to import resource, and that you can import from Angular code. So that is done. Once that is done, let's say that I want to create a resource, product resource, and that is my product resource local. I'm working with the going to create a local resource. So I'll say product resource local equal to, or product local resource equal to, and to create a Resource API, you need resource function, and this resource function takes an object as a parameter. So that's what you are passing here, resource, and that resource takes an object as a function, and that object has various functions to be passed, various method you could say, and the most important is loader. So loader is the function inside that you are going to write all code related to load data. So here I am saying loader, and this is my loader, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this loader async, and here I'm going to say that, all right, return, and let's say that return a promise. So here we'll say promise.resolve, and we are resolving it here. And in this we can return some data, ID, name, product, price. So here I have created my simplest resource. To create that, use Resource API. In that you are passing a parameter, that loader function. Loader function is in this case returning a local object. Now you have created this resource. Let's say that in the constructor we are going to see various values of the resource, and I'm going to create an effect, and in this effect what I'm going to do, I'm going to console log all this, and I'll take this product local resource and change this. So here I'm saying product local resource. So you see that you have product local resource has values, and let me take this, sorry. So it has value, then it has a status, then it has error, and then it has is loading. So you have these properties available on the Resource API, which you can check what is the current value, what is the status, what is error, whether it's had error or whether it's loading or not. So here I have put them in the effect for this resource, and let's see that what output we are getting. So we are here and function F12, and let's go to console. So here let me do one more thing, is that after this last console, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put one more console.log, and I'll just put some lining such that we can differentiate among them. All right, so here we are. Now let's load this. You see that when your resource started loading, the data was undefined, status was 2, error is undefined, and loading true. So you have these, this is the state of your resource when it started loading, and then when promise got resolved inside the loader function, you see that you have data, then the resource status is 4, error is undefined, and is loading false. So this is very important, these four: data, status, error, and is loading, which you can use to handle many purposes and create a better UI. If you remember, in the output, you had different status here, like resource status. So these are the status you can see. 0 is idle, 1 is error, 2 is loading, 3 is reloading, 4 is resolved, and 5 is local. So these are the enum which is mapped there, and you see that. Please be aware that this loader function returns a signal, and if you want to use this on the UI, this product local resource directly, you can very much do that. So let's say that I go here h2 and I say product, and then I can use interpolation, and in the interpolation dot value. So here I can print that value, and let's put a JSON pipe to that. So I'm putting this JSON pipe, and let's import the JSON pipe here. All right. So here I'm printing that using that resource value on the template directly, and I should get expected output here: product ID, name, product, price. I'm getting it here. I just said that this resource loader function returns a signal. Actually, I'm going to rephrase myself. It exposes a result which is being returned from loader function as a signal. If you go to resource, just right click here and go to the definition of this, you see that here resource actually takes one resource option as a parameter, and it returns resource ref. Let's look at the resource return type. So go to resource ref, and again if you go to definition here, it returns a writable resource. And this writable resource, again, if you go to writable resource right here, writable resource is extending resource, and it has these has value, set, and updater, etc. Now go to resource. In the resource, you have this value, status, error, is loading, which we just used, if you recall, in the effect signal. And from here you see that what are the different status, what are the different and here you see that status, resource status is which we discussed. Now again, if we come back to resource and look at now the input parameters, it takes a resource options. Let's go to resource options, and here it has three loader, which is the must. You need to pass loader, which we just saw. The purpose of loader is to load data. Besides loader, you have an optional request parameter, an optional equal parameter, and optional injector parameter. Equal parameter is that equality function, injector is injector, but this request holds a very much importance, and we are going to look into that what is the purpose of a request parameter. All right, so this is how your resource is. It takes an input parameter where you have four options to pass. Loader, you got to pass it where you are going to perform all operation. Then you have request, then you have injector, and then you have equal. In this video, we are going to focus only on loader and request. They have a very tight relationship with each other, but a simple loader, you just saw that. Now let us say that how we can fetch a new product. So for that, what I'm going to do, here I'm creating one ID, and this ID is of type writable signal, and it takes a number, all right, and use signal, and initially this value is 1. So here I have created a writable signal. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one function here, and let's say that function is, and just be with me, you'll understand after end of this demo that what I'm trying to teach you here. Here I'm saying that update product, and then I'll say that this dot, so take this dot ID dot update. So we are updating that, and we are updating that value each time. with 1. So here I'm saying that this.id.update I plus 1. So we are just updating the signal. This is good, and here we have created a signal. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a button here. That button says that update ID, and on click of this button, let's say update product. So we are calling that update product, sorry, not update ID, update product. So here we have this button which is calling update product. Inside update product we are updating the signal, and here we have created that signal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share in the loader. I'm going to say that, all right, let a equal to this dot ID. So we read that ID and let's say that multiply that with okay, so whatever is there, let A, and then in the price we will multiply that to A. So what I'm doing is, the message here is that I'm trying to read the signal inside loader. So please focus here. I'm trying to read signal inside loader, and let's see that what behavior we are getting out of this. So here is the output. You have this product ID printed here. Now when you click on the update product, you see nothing is happening. This resource API is not getting updated. Let's go here and go to the update product, and let's say that after updating it, if we print this value console.log and this dot ID, so if we print this value and then come back again, so we update that, we see that here the value of ID is getting updated. However, no impact is happening on your resource API. And what we did here, we are using that signal directly inside the loader function and trying to use it. But the value of signal is getting updated, but that is not impacting the loader function. So how we go about that, how we fix that? So to fix that, what you got to do, you got to use the second parameter, and the second parameter is the request parameter. So let's use request, and here we'll say this dot ID. So we are using this dot ID, and then here we say that this dot A, and then param dot request as number. So here what we are doing, that we are using request parameter. In the request parameter we are just returning that signal, and then reading that as a loader takes a parameter. That parameter has request, and it has other options as well, abortSignal, previous, and request. We are working with request right now, so param.request and as a number, assigning that to A, and then we are using this A here. Now let's go back and run this application. So as you run this application, update product, you are seeing that here product is getting updated as soon as signal is getting updated. Now why it is happening? Now you are getting that behavior because in resource API, loader is not tracked, however request is tracked. So if you are using a signal inside the loader, that is, Angular is not going to track that because inside loader function you are going to perform many operations, many asynchronous operations, calling API and all that. However, request is tracked. So if you are using a signal inside request, if signal changes, request will reflect back to that. So you need to keep in mind that always you pass parameter through request inside loader. So far you have seen that how to create a resource. You understand that it takes two parameters, request and loader. Request is trackable, however loader is not tracked. So if signal used inside request change, then Angular tracks that. However, if a signal used inside loader changes, Angular does not track that. And a loader is the required parameter to create a resource. Resource is a new API to actually load data. Now what we are going to do is we are going to make an API call to load data from the remote API. So here I have a API on localhost 3000 port products. I'm going to consume this API. This API, if you don't pass any query parameter, it returns you all these products, and then if you pass some parameter, it returns you that particular ID. If you pass something which does not exist, it returns you product not found. So we are going to use this API in the resource. All right, so here we are. Now let's go ahead and create a product local resource. We'll create product API resource. Okay, and again to create, we will say resource, and then that resource takes two parameters. We'll say request, and request is also a function, and then loader, and here we'll say loader async. Here, so here we have created a request. For the request, it is saying that it is not available, so we have to pass for the request as well, something like this. All right, let us get rid of request as of now. Just focus on the loader. So here we have loader async, and then we are going to make an API call in this. So for that, what I'm going to do, we are going to use fetch. So we will say that, hey, return fetch localhost products, then result response.json as promised product array. We already have a product array created here. So let's go and import that from here. So if you go to product, it has ID, name, and price, which you are actually getting from the API. If you look at here, ID, you are getting ID, name, and price. So I just mapped there. So I have a product of type product interface, ID, name, and price. And here I'm creating a product API resource using resource, then the loader async return using fetch, passing the URL, then, and when I'm getting the result, I'm just reading that as that JSON as a product array. So here I have created that resource which is making call to the API. So what I have done is on the template, just using a table and then @for, and then we are looping through product API resource.value, because you know that your product API resource returns you a product array. So we are looping through that and then just printing that value here. Also what I have done is that in the constructor, I have replaced this, trying to read value status error and is loading of product API resource. So let's go and see that in the output. So here you see that you are getting this output from the API. And also if you look at here, first your product resource data was undefined and resource status was 2, error was undefined and true. And once API being made, here you get resource data. So that's you are getting in the array, then status is 4. Error is undefined, and is resource loading is false. So you can very much once again use this status, loading property, etc. to make better UI. And here we are just very simply using that dot value on the template to use the resource on the to display data. Now let's see that how we can filter on a particular product. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one input type, and let's say text, and we are going to use ng model here equal to product ID to search. All right, so we are just trying to see how in real time we can use this, and then in app component we need to import forms model. So we have done that, and then we need product ID to search. So take this guy from here, and then we have product ID to search number. So we have put it here. All right, so this product ID to search, and then what we are going to do, we are going to create one button here as well. That button will say search product. So create this search product here, and what you can do is you can create search product here, and inside this what we will do, we are going to use this ID which we created a signal. So here we are going to use this ID and set this product ID to search to that ID. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that, okay, this dot ID dot set, and whatever is the this dot product ID to search. So always whenever user changes this product ID to search, that product ID to search, what we are going to do is we are going to put this PRODUCT product ID to search. Sorry for the spelling. Take this here and then we are going to put it here. So we are saying that this dot product ID to search is saying number and defined is not allowed. So here we will say we are going to say if this dot product ID to search. Right, if it is not undefined, then only set this value. All right, so we are setting that signal value. Now what we got to do is we got to use that signal value here in the product API response. So we need to pass that product ID through the request. So here we'll say request, and this is the request, and inside request we are going to pass ID, and this ID is going to be this dot ID is our signal, and we are going to read that. So you see that this ID where we are setting that in the search product. So here we are saying ID dot set. All right, so this dot ID and then give a comma, and then here in the loader what we are going to do is we are going to put here const and then ID, and then here you'll say param dot request as ID number. All right, so here you are able to read that like that, param dot request as ID number, and then just create the URL to make that API make that call. So it would be localhost products. So we are going to put that localhost products, and then question mark and then ID equal to, I guess, plus ID. Yeah, so this is the ID which we can pass, and then remove this with the URL. And so here we are saying that products ID, we are reading the ID, which is the signal, and we are trying to fetch that record. Let's see that what output we are getting. So here we are getting that output, and open this here. You see that it's getting you all output. You can go and search for 3. You are getting it for 3. You see that here it tells you that now you are 3 and resource status 4 false. You can again change it to 2, and you are getting that. So you see that how you are able to pass data through the request. So here what we, again to revise what we have done, we created a product API resource that in the request we are reading the signal because request is tracked, and then using that inside the loader. All right, so far so good. You have learned almost everything about resource. Now one important point is that resource, how it handles multiple calls. So let us say that here you are searching for product 2, still API call is in progress, and you are back and change it to 1. Then how it is going to handle? So what resource does, step 1, it is not going to cancel ongoing request. However, it is only going to give you result of the current request. So it will not cancel that. So it will not cancel the request for product ID 2, but it will return you request or output of product ID 1, which is the last. So it never cancels the previous request, but it returns you only the output of the last request. So here for that what you need to do, you need to pass a parameter signal as param.abortSignal. So if you pass this parameter param.abortSignal, what it does, it cancels the previous request whenever there is some changes in the request. So this parameter is very important. So this is what I have for resource API. Please start using that. So in my opinion, resource API is a very good addition to Angular. It helps us to load data. Please be aware that as of now, the purpose of resource API is to load data. You should not perform post or any put operation, any mutation inside the loader. Also with resource API, as of now, interceptors are not working. All right, so this is what you have learned in last 25 minutes. I hope you find this video useful, and thank you for watching it. Please use this video with your friends who are working on Angular, and I'll see you in next video. My name is Dhananjay Kumar. I'm from NomadCoder. Thank you so much.